Well, today is an exciting day for me. I am on the road on my way to the West Coast. I am literally about 300 miles away from the ocean. Yay! And I'm going live from Boulder City, Nevada. I camped at Lake Mead last night, and oh, it was pitch black. I was the only one, pretty much about five other people and me. And oh, I got so many great stories to tell you about what happened at campsite last night when you're out in almost like in the woods by yourself. There's all kinds of things you can do, like bathe, when no one's around. I mean, it's a marvelous, and under the stars. But anyway, today we are having a discussion, and we've got people coming in about, well, we talked last week about let's bring in some sales ideas. We're getting our business up and running, or we have a product already. And so why not let's get some sales going? So let's bring in a couple people that are following this for a while. And we're going to talk about sales and how to get customers, or how to start a business and get customers, and all of the above. So thank you once again for joining me. And here comes Stacy, and I believe she is from, or out in, you're out in Cape Cod still, aren't you, Stacy?
No, I've been traveling today. I actually don't know where I am. Let me see.
Oh, you don't? Oh, one of those kind of days? Okay.
Maryland.
And look at, she just left us. Oh, there she's back. Come on, Stacy. Stay with me here. Gosh, there we go. Well, with our challenges with Wi-Fi, I'm actually at a very noisy Starbucks. So, when you travel, you have to do what you got to do. But I am always committed. The key word today is committed. I am always committed to going live right when I say I'm going to go live, and I will do everything. Look at me, even arrange my screen to go live at 9 o'clock Pacific time, 10 o'clock some areas. But anyway, you're out in the Eastern time zone, is that right?
Yes, Maryland. I'm in Maryland today. Eastern. Yes.
Well, you're in Maryland. You're moving around too. And then we've got Mel coming in from. She's coming in from Ontario, Canada, and Mel is an author and a speaker, and we've been working on, or we're going to be working on how to sell some of those books. So if you're watching and you want to come on board, there's a link. Ah, well, type in the chat room that you'd like the link. That's what happened last week when Katie came in. She says, "Can I have the link?" I think that would be better because then we can keep it to our discussion. Today is kind of one of those days where we're going to just be kind of free forming. So, and we're also live up on YouTube today, and we're live on Twitter. So you never know who's watching up there. I've got a capability of going to all different places, live. So I thought, let's do something different today. We're from a different town, different mojo, different attitude. So let's start with my old method, which would be the no hat sales method, is what I used to call it. And the reason I called it that is because when you're closing a deal or when you're selling somebody, they would never know you have this sales hat on. You would never know that I'm actually being sold right now. You would never know that. So that was the method. But the new method that's way next level from that is my QB method, which is the quarterback method. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we can boost our life, our health, our sales, our business. It's an all-encompassing mindset on how to get these things that we're going to be talking about today. So I'm really, really excited about that. So let's get into Mel. Mel, you're creating cartoons, books, children's books. What do you actually want to sell? I mean, just flat out sell. What would you like to monetize? Let's put monetize. What do you have to monetize?
I've been doing mostly coloring books so far. I mean,
That's what you actually sell?
That's what I like doing, and that's what I would like to sell. Yes.
Okay, and then how are you selling those now?
Mostly Amazon and my own website. I have Amazon for the physical copies, like the paperbacks, and my own website for the digital copies.
Oh, okay. And which one does better, trends better, you'd say?
Right now, I think digital because one, it's more affordable, and
Uh-huh.
two, it's instant.
That's a good point.
So
And then people can just print them out of their printer. Is that how they do it?
yeah,
Uh-huh.
so you can like
Okay.
print one page at a time, or you can print the whole thing out and staple it and make your own coloring book. Or
Oh, nice. Okay. And who is the market for that? Who do you market that to?
I started off with doing kids coloring books because actually I turned my 12 children's stories into coloring book versions, and then I just went on from there and made some coloring books and activity books for kids, usually ages 8 to 12. But
Oh, 8 to 12.
yeah, but the coloring books I've been making lately are for adults.
For when?
For adults.
Oh, for adults. Oh, I'm sorry. I missed that one. I was going to write that down. Okay, so we've got some colored books, digital and hard copy. Digital they get from your website, and the hard copy they get from Amazon. And now the big question, and I will tell you right out of the gate, and we'll talk to Stacy a little bit. I know she's taking notes and listening to Emily because she's ready to launch something. We don't know what yet. She is. That in every company, the sales department is usually down here and the marketing department is down here. A lot of people get it confused that they're the same thing, that sales and marketing are the same thing. So in our quest now to get more customers, we're going to have the sales department working with the marketing department so that we go out with a really efficient program. And the ones that do that really well are companies that realize that we have nothing without our marketing department and we have nothing without our sales department. And we can't, they're totally two different people. You know, the marketing is more of a creative, let's come up with some plans, and sales are the people that, you know, close the deals and open the deals and that type of thing. So as an entrepreneur, the interesting part is that you are going to have to be both. Isn't that fun?
Oh,
And so, what's that?
I said, oh no.
I know, oh no. And then the other thing is the classic part of you having to be both sales and marketing is the fact that what you really want to do is just draw coloring books all day. You know, you don't want, I mean, every artist, every art seminar, everything that I've ever shown anybody was they just want to do their creative stuff. This is not fun. So we are going to have to get out of our comfort zone now in some of this stuff. And you can just shake your head and go, no, 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 no. Because it's, once again, if it's going to be, it's up to me. And if like these programs that I've launched, you know, at 9:00 now, I have done no promotion, no nothing, you know, so we see, you know, the same thing happening each week. And that's okay because I've gotten response and people, you know, talking. But so that's just a perfect example of if you don't market, you will see no results. So you have to be the sales and marketing. So we'll talk about both, but today I kind of want to talk more about your sales department. Okay. And the first thing, and if you want to take notes in out of my training, and I will do this in our quarterback mindset group that will be launching here soon, is this is going to be the number one thing we have to do is we have to set an area aside away from our production of whatever we're producing, our creative area, an area where we call the BDC, the Business Development Center. And we're going to be talking about the BDC and how you are doing, how many hours you are committing to that, because whereas art comes as it flows, or production out in the production area comes as it flows when you have the creative juices flowing, the BDC has to be a commitment. If you want a successful company, you have to sit in this one area and just do the work. All right, well, what is some of that work in that area? Some of that work in that area is finding leads, finding ways that you can sell to people. Are you going to, and that's a whole class really, how to find leads. But I'm going to just, brush over it for today, and we can make that another class. But finding people, customers, bodies to buy those books, to buy your product, Stacy, whatever it is that you're coming up with. And we'll find out about that in a minute with you. So I hope you're prepared to talk today. She's not hearing me. I think she's got me on mute. Yes, I'm prepared to talk. So even though, let's say, Stacy isn't in business yet, like you are, Mel, and you've got your product, she could be over in her BDC in the alpha stage, which means the beginning, we go alpha and then beta. So in the alpha stage where she's at, she can set up a little center herself, put all the cards of people she's meeting, the leads, telephone numbers, and this type of thing. Okay, so we know that we have to have an area. And I know Mel and I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Let me take a sip here. You guys take a sip too if you're drinking. I don't do coffee is like not, but you got to order something. So I should have probably ordered lemonade or something. But anyway, I feel great this morning, so I could just feel greater with some coffee. All right, so in your BDC, can you tell us, Mel, just a little bit like what that will look like in your area? Will it be a TV tray? Will it be another little desk? Just a portion of your art area? What do you see that looking like?
I would actually like a desk, because right now I'm at a table. And while it's great because it's got lots of room to spread out, which I have ADHD, so that's me. Gotta have everything in front of me. But I could use a desk for organizing things. Like my printer's too big for my workspace, but I still know I need it. So if I could put it away and just have it like at arm's reach, but not in my way, that would be great. And I'm sure I could put some of this stuff in drawers if I had drawers. So
yeah. Well, that sounds like the key then, like, because I think personally, I think that area has to breed not motivation, I should say, but breed the ability to want to work. So let's say you might put a little, flower arrangement or some kind of knickknack or something that makes you want to go over there. It's a sacred spot. It really is. Mm-hmm. The BDC has to be where the business gets done. And most of the people that come to me, I'll be honest with you, when we're startups or they're just got a business like you and they've been kind of trudging along and you want to make more sales, do not know about a BDC. And when I tell them you have to separate the business from the production, you go into a factory and they don't have the business offices down on the factory floor. They've got them up behind glass and, administration and sales is going on up there. Well, that's kind of what you have to think. We have to separate the business development center to be a place where you're now going to, happy to say, make some money. Mm-hmm. This is where you're going to make the money. Mm-hmm. The product is going to get built, but this is where it's all going to all come together in the BDC. So if you could, Mel, make it something real special. Even if I know you like to go out to thrift shops and stuff like that. If you see something like a piece of furniture that just rings with you, I like to do that. I see my little white chest that I have in my van. It had the little 2 doors. I said, oh, I see that as my little kitchen. Look for something because this is not going to happen tonight, but this is what's going to be as we get into the quarterback mindset and find out how we're going to get this money coming in. It's going to be real important to start with the first steps. The establishing steps here are to set up a BDC. And so I'm going to write that we talked about that. And then I'm going to say that we also said, make it a special place. Yeah, Daisy.
Should it be a place separate from where you journal or not do your creative, like her coloring book? Maybe she does that in a recliner. I don't know. But should it be, can that space have multiple purposes, or is it best to segregate it? I don't know. Will you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I kind of got bits and pieces of it, but I think what you said is, can it be that same table she's working on with her art? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm asking,
No.
should it be solely for this business plan, or can she pay her household bills at that same place? And can
Oh, a
she?
good question. Yes, usually the BDC would be like, I have a calculator. In fact, I just had to, when I was purging, like we talked about, I had to let go of my calculator because that was always at my BDC, because I like accounting and I like to see where I'm at, and ledgering and all that. So it's a office setting, yes. Now the one in my van now is a larger TV tray with a tablecloth on it, fits my computer and all my ledgers that I can write and stuff like that. So that one, because of, I'm in a limited space, fronts as my desk when I'm working and as my like eating area or ledgering area or something like that. So yes, but the point I think I'm making, like someone like Mel that's situated now in a artistic environment where she goes and works, we have to get her, in order for us to be successful in this program, we have to get her thinking, oh, I got to go over there. And, oh, I don't want to go over there. But I have to go over there, because again, no company is successful without their sales department. None. I mean, they fold. If a deli doesn't have sales, they fold. So we have to really put a huge emphasis, and I'll ask you, Mel, because you know the financial situation of your company. At this point, what percentage would you say would have to be creative, work on creative, let's say in a day? What, remember our circle of life, like but in your business setting, and now we slice that piece down. What would be your creative, and what do you think would be your business? What are the two percentages, would you say, in your mind as we move forward now?
What am I doing, you mean, or what should I be doing?
What would be your best desire to spend, time in your BDC and your art and your creative and all that? What's a good balance, would you say, in going into your BDC?
I'd probably say half and half.
Oh, I love you. I love you. And you were picking up exactly what I wanted to hear, because 50-50 is what it's going to be all about right now. Now, maybe as you start getting more sales and, you're feeling a little comfortable and cushy, maybe you can take it down a notch and do one of those 4-hour work weeks or whatever they say, But right now, as we launch out, we have to go 50-50. So if you're spending 2 hours over in your creative writing, go 2 hours in your BDC.
Mm-hmm.
Now, most of the clients I work with, I ask them to give me your time, because I'm going to maybe text you and say, are you in your BDC? I'm going to make you kind of accountability. You're not one of my private, clients, but if you were, I would text you and say, are you in your BDC? That is how important it is. So I'm going to write down, just for future conversations, that you've now committed to a 50-50. Okay. And that is a perfect answer, because when we're getting started, we have to produce goods to go sell.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's a perfect answer. So we're going to work on the area. We're going to work on the design. And I know as an artist, you're going to be able to make it wonderful. Maybe you can send us a snapshot of what it looks like when you're done. A flower arrangement, a statue, a mirror, motivational quotes, a bulletin board, whatever works for you to say, I want to go paint, and I want to go make cartoons, and I want to go make coloring books, but I also want to go over here because look how wonderful that little place is. And then we're going to start next. We're going to go into your BDC, and I'm going to help you and that's our next step now, is we're going to go into the BDC. Right now, just get organized. That's your homework. Get organized, get some lead sheets or contact sheets, or get all your business cards out. Just kind of get going. And then next week we will talk about and get in there. If you get it ready, go ahead and get in there. If you can get it set up and start thinking business. What have you done in the past? What have you massaged on your Amazon page? What have and just go in and see if you can get some sales just to get started and see how we're going. All right, Stacy, do you see any purpose or reason, I haven't even started a business yet, for knowing why a BDC would be so important in your launch of your desire to have a business? Do you understand what that means?
Yes, because I did have a photography business, and I spent 90% in the creativity and 10% in the BDP, and I'm surprised I made any money. But yes, I was a stunk at the BDP, and I enjoyed hearing you say that even though I haven't launched, I should still spend time in that.
Uh-huh. Well, good. Well, it's Business Development Center is what it's called. BDC.
Oh, see, I said P for plan.
Yeah, that's okay. Because, all right. In the Business Development Center, in companies that have them, they require their sales people, they're usually little cubbies with a phone and a little bit of a desk, and they require their salespeople to go in there with the sales manager. And all they're doing for that hour or 2 hours or whatever they're assigned to do is just call, follow up on your leads, blah, 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 blah. In that BDC, when you're in there, the sales manager might say, okay, who's on the roster to close today or open today or whatever. And they'll want to know what that is. So there's 2 words that are going to happen in the BDC that I'll ask you about. And one is it a weather report? Okay. And that's the name I use, and some sales departments use this. Some sales managers will really get down on their people if they come to them with a weather report. And here's what a weather report is. Just like a weatherman. Hey, it's going to rain today. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. A weather report in sales is when you go to yourself, because you're a sole proprietor, and you think in your mind, this is a done deal. Oh my gosh, look at that. They said they were interested. No. A weather report is, they can't be in. They got to say, Mel, send me the invoice. Mel, send me, I'm sending you a check. A deal equals a check. Okay. I can't even tell you how many people have told me that, oh, listen to this account I'm getting. It's da 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 da. And are they a weather report? Well, what's that mean? A weather report is like you're saying, look at this deal. Do you have a check yet? Have they committed yet? Are they signed an invoice yet? Have they? No. Well, then you're not on a deal. Okay, you're not on a deal. You have a deal. You come to us. You come to me when you say, I just landed, blah blah blah, and look at the check, or look at the email with the account number, or look at, that's a deal. Okay. So in this sales training, we don't want to hear about whether, don't even bring them up. And I'm kind of like your sales manager right now, so I don't want to hear about, oh, listen to this, how great this is. Oh my God. No, I'm sorry, I don't have time for it. I'm here to help you make money. And weather reports do not make you money. Okay, so that's key. So a deal is if you have the check in your hand. Now, that being said, scouting, when you're out scouting and you think you might have somebody interested, like, Mel's going to go out and look at different avenues of like where she can sell this stuff, maybe the hard copies at bookstores, or, call up, whatever, I'm a local artist, blah, blah, blah. She's going and scouting, wanting some feedback on, and I do this to everyone, you guys for sure. I call and say, hey, what do you think about this idea? I'm kind of scouting an idea. Coming back to the meeting and telling us people that you're scouting for feedback is fine. That's fine, because we're more in a think tank and all that. So it's really not the same thing as a weather report and scouting, because you have to scout. And should I go to a nonprofit? I mean, I don't know what the questions you'll ask, but you know what I'm saying? Like when you scout, now just to break up me talking all the time. Do you know anyone that you would scout out, Mel? I mean, right off the bat, you'd say, I'll go to my BDC and start scouting out some people. Do you have anybody that comes to mind?
I was thinking some elementary schools, or even like for the coloring books, just going to like shelters and stuff, because I know that single parents often are just worrying about paying for the needs and don't really have much money for the little things that the kids want to do. So free books would, and maybe I got these little 4-pack crayon little pack.
Mm-hmm.
And if I gave those out as well, then that might be something.
Okay, and then we'll also, in the scouting, we'll go into that other department, which is marketing. Because if you go out and say have a tent at a nonprofit fair or a vendor fair or whatever, you're going to be scouting at that fair. You're going to have your business cards and you're going to be looking at different, potential vendors or people or something like that. So we'll talk about scouting when we get into the marketing part of it. But right now we're in the BDC scouting, people and stuff like that. All right. So we have weather report we don't want to hear about, and we want to only hear if you have a check or you close the deal. Okay. All right. So that's two really important factors in working this BDC, because you're going to be in all over the place at first, but now we're going to start narrowing it down to the real people, that can, write the money. Okay, so those are two things I'd like you to remember about the BDC. Scouting is different than a weather report. Am I clear? Is there any questions on the weather report? Is that pretty clear? What a weather report is? You look like you might not.
Stacey.
You're looking like.
I'm just I'm absorbing it all. It's all new. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's all new for sure. But this is the key, and I don't know. I love this so much, and I love managing sales. I've been on the floor. I've done in fact, I was going to use my little life-size trophy that I made down in Tucson. I got a salesman of the month and salesperson of the month, and that picture, I said, I got a picture of this just for, and when I see it, it says salesperson of the month. It's like that moment is like a culmination of all that you do in your BDC, in your business development center, because that's where the business gets, aggregated in your BDC. So when you get that, you go, okay, you don't even think about the money, what that means, even the bonus for being top sales. You don't even think about it. It's just that atta girl with the trophy. So that being said, because we're on our own now and we're entrepreneurs, and someone's not going to give us a trophy, someone's not going to give us an atta girl, and someone's not going to give us a bonus. So what do we do to get that feeling? It's a feeling like that. When I stood up there and received that, it was a feeling, and there was never ever thought for a moment that, oh my God, that ka-chink, ka-chink. Never. It was never. In fact, one time when I was up on the stage in Los Angeles when I was selling motorhomes, the owner gave out these little blocks of silver for the amount of gross percentage you made on a deal. And so I was going up to get my silver and my block of silver, and he reached over to me and he goes, so how much did you make on that sale? And I go, $9,600. And I whispered away from the the microphone. And he looked over at me and he goes, well, after the meeting, I'm going downstairs and getting $400 and we're going to make that $10,000. I went, oh, yes. You know, I mean, I already made 9,600, but 400 more to make it 10 grand. That's one time where I was winning an award where the money came up. That's the only time is when he did that to me. Because I guess I'm saying this because as solopreneurs, we don't get that, you know, because we're not working at it. We don't get that kind of, you know, atta girl kind of stuff. So my next part of this is, how do we reward ourselves then? What do we do? And it's just like I want to get my pen because I want to definitely log this because it's so important. What do we do? Can we do for rewards for a job well done? We're going to have the commitment like we are here working, where we're going to go, yay, like in the 12 weeks to victory, go, yay, you know, and that feels good when people do that. But what now, let's say at the end of next week, Mel, tell us a commitment you'd like to make to your BDC, like 1 hour a day, 2 hours on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then do it, and then tell us what you're going to reward yourself with. So what do you think you can do, even though you haven't got your BDC set up yet, but even working on your BDC, like for an hour, would be working in your BDC because you're getting it set up, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think you can do this week, in the week moving forward, that would work on the BDC, how many hours a day or 3 days a week, whatever you want to do, based on your schedule, and then tell me what you would reward what would be a perfect reward. Like he gave out blocks of silver, and of course you got your commission, and then he went and said, oh, I'm going to give you, I mean, that was a huge reward. Even though 400 didn't match the 9,600, it's still, to make it 10 grand was a big reward to me. I mean, that's the first time and only time I can remember being really happy on stage, getting money, you know, making it a money thing. So if your reward can be, you know, not food and something, let's figure out what that is. Okay, so how many days a week, Mel, do you think you can devote to your BDC?
I did write it down, and I was hoping 2 hours Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Perfect. Okay, so Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. 2 hours. That is a perfect BDC. Now, here's the deal. When you commit to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, well, wait a minute, it's Wednesday, and I kind of don't feel like going to I don't feel like I feel like drawing. Unfortunately, whereas you can bend everywhere else in your life and say, oh, I'm going to take a shower tomorrow instead of today. I mean, you can do all this bending. You can't on the BDC. I'm sorry. Even if you have to sit there, I mean, because I'm going to be a hardcore sales manager. You're telling me you're going to be there Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 2 hours. So in the 6 hours that you're going to take this week, even if it's setting it up and getting all excited about what it's going to look like, whatever that BDC looks like, I'm telling you, this is your future. This is your okay? And so it's so important to go on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, whether you want to or not. And then I'm going to teach you, if you have to make phone calls when you're in the BDC and you're in a funk, I'm going to teach you how to be an actress and okay, that's coming up. Not in this today, but let's just get started. All right. So next week, you're going to go Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and you're going to be ready by Monday. And at the end of the week, do you have any idea what you'd like to reward yourself with for 6 hours dedication to your business?
I do know what the reward is, but I don't think it's too expensive for after just only 1 week. So
okay, so that'll be a reward down the line then.
Yeah.
Okay, what would be this week? I mean, sometimes I go to the Dollar Tree and take $20 in and buy as much as I can for $20, and that's my reward. And I go, oh my God, look, I got a new scrubber, and I'm going, yeah, I got all this new stuff for $20. Or you can take $10. Say I'm going to a thrift show and just, whatever. But go ahead, Stacy.
I have an idea what her reward could be.
What?
Um, my sister and I call them happy pins. It's a pin with a crazy little top on it of some kind, you know.
I
And
used
then
to
it would
have
be,
those, yeah.
yeah. And again, it goes out of the dollar store, so it's not a financial investment, but it would be a visual reminder too in her office that she made it the first week.
She worked it that first week. Okay. Well, that's a great idea. Something maybe that you could pin up on your, like she said, something that could be a visual, a sticker or something, like teacher gives you a star that, but I think we're that kind of people. We even in our health group, we get on the scale and we go, oh, that's my reward. Look, I did good. And the scale says it, usually. Sometimes we get a little fluctuation there, but for the most part, my coming up on 60 pounds, which I'll be talking about today at 4:00. That 60 pounds is the byproduct of all this stuff that I did. So your BDC is pretty much the same way. It's a byproduct of you being diligent and committed to your sales part of your business. So in your own estimation, what would be a feel good? That was a good suggestion, but what would be a feel good for you that's really going to motivate you to go in there like, oh, at the end of the 6 hours, I'm going to go get to, what would that be? I mean, like, for example, I've had sales managers say, okay, you guys, let's go to BDC all month and I'll take you out for pizza and beer at the end. I mean, okay, so there we go to food. It's kind of like food always seems to be a reward. If it has to be food, that's fine. I like the idea of something that you can put up on a wall or your bulletin board that says I did it, for my first week to kind of motivate you for the second week and all that. But what is anything coming to mind that would really make you feel good? And it doesn't have to be to us right now. It can be, but just is there anything that just comes to mind?
I like you were talking about decor and stuff like that for the BDC. I like painting ceramics. So I've got one here that I got to work on. But if I bought, another one of those or something, then I could help. I would enjoy doing that, and then I can decorate.
Okay, so your reward would be buy something that you could, actually work on in the future, because that's you're gonna have to pull money out that's not maybe in your budget, but that would be your reward, and then of course then you can take it from there on your creativity.
Yeah,
that's a great one. I'm gonna be diligent in my 6 hours, see what I can garner up, and then I'm gonna reward myself with a ceramic piece or something. Is that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I like that, because then it's going to keep moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
See, like Stacy's thing, it's going to go up in your pin thing, or it's going to go up on your bulletin board. So, food is going to be just for the momentarily. So this is a good. So you'll see when you look at that piece of ceramic that has been a commitment, a past commitment, and maybe as the weeks go on, you do really keep it as a work in progress. Okay, I buy it first week. Second, I'm going to start decorating it. Then the next week, I'm going to start adding embellishments to it or whatever. Keep it as a future. I love that. That's great. That's your reward. That's not something you're going to go out and buy today, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's something you're going to do after, pinch your pennies and save your money and go buy it after you work hard. Yeah. Now, as you're setting up your BDC, you're going to see that as you're making money now, you're going to be bringing in money because of this garnering up business. Then maybe you can bring the level of reward up higher. But right now, let's keep the reward just as something that's really important to us. Okay, Stacy, your hand up did you have a question?
Yes. I think I'm hearing you say that there needs to be a weekly reward and a different or the same weekly commitment, but every week we recommit and re-reward, or how does that work?
Every week, because you're going to have to, maybe, your schedule changes or something. Maybe it's going to be maybe it's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays for 4 hours. Whatever you do, at the end of it is when you say, I did it. I will be experiencing the residual byproduct of doing it, which in the future will be business. And I'm going to now reward myself for doing it. See, the whole thing is, the reason on the reward is like when you go and make coloring books and all this or that, or what, photography or whatever you do, you don't give yourself a reward. You just, but the BDC, when you're developing business, nobody wants to go there. I'm telling you, nobody. I never wanted to go there. It's if we're creative, no, that's for somebody else. But we're entrepreneurs, and we have to go there if we're going to have a business. I'm telling you, as we move Mel's business to the next level, she's going to have to step up. She's going to have to step up, and she knows that, and she's here, and she's working on it, and she's diligent, and she's committed, which I love about her. And I will cry when we see this thing go next level. I really will, because I've seen how she has committed to the whole process. And now next week, when we start the quarterback mindset, it's not going to be easy. This is for the king, the quarterback, the queen, whoever that's throwing the ball out to the team. This is going to be where we really have to pull our, big girl pants up and go next level. And so out of the comfort zone of creative people. It is so not what creative people want to do. I mean, I remember doing a seminar with a bunch of artists down at the museum. They wanted me to do a seminar on teaching artists how to sell their goods and stuff like that. And there wasn't anybody in there that wanted to do any of this stuff. No, I'm an artist. I said, well, then you're going to be in the studio, and you're going to be painting, and you're going to be whatever you're doing, and that's the extent of it, and I hope you're happy with that. Now, the people that I've seen step out of that mold, and I'm going to give her a big shout out right now. She has never taken my training because she doesn't need to. Tracy Miller, if you go on, and I don't know if I've told you guys this before, but if you go on Tracy Miller Fine Art group page, this girl is the master of marketing. And I just saw her out in California. She came out to teach a seminar in Palm Springs, and I just still am in awe of how she does it. She does the most beautiful artwork. She paints these real colorful, like bears and elk and all that, with all kinds of color in it. And then she branched off and started doing some other type of art, because she moved to Minnesota. She moved from Colorado to Minnesota, got in a gallery right down there in this little town, and she's still, you got to follow her because she's the master of marketing. But here's what she does, which most artists don't want to do. And I laugh at her sometimes. I go, dang, you're good, girl. She self-promotes. But not in the like, look at me. She will put a piece up that she just sold, and she'll say in her Facebook page, oh, this was a commission piece that's now going to, and give the shout out to the town and the gallery that it was sold in. So little tip as we get into marketing, self-promote. Mel has now got a YouTube channel, and I noticed you've got all kinds of stuff down the bottom of links and everything, and you can say, by the way, check out my coloring books, at the end, or at the beginning in your intro, you can say, oh, by the way, I'm in a mood today, blah, 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 or whatever you do, and say, this is all being brought to you by some of the work that I do, and it's over, and then maybe put a link in it, stuff like that. So you can self-promote without what do you say, without looking, like I'm self-promoting, I guess that's what I want to say. You can do that. And so try it to see how it feels. Okay, so it looks like we are up on, boy, we've been at this BDC for almost 45 minutes. So this is awesome that we've got some neat notes. I'll open it up to questions now. Anything about sales, anything about anything. Let's open up for a few minutes of questions, and then we'll move on to our next stop. Any questions about anything like this? What it means, how it works, byproducts, anything. Anything come up?
I have a comment.
That's perfect.
I never knew that creating the environment was a key piece of it. I just assumed that as a female, I liked a cute little office, but I didn't know that was a good thing or a key piece and nearly a requirement.
Yeah. Well, for solopreneurs like ourselves, like for, we're by ourselves, when I would go to the BDC in a company, it's a stark little cubicle with a phone and a little, shelf as your desk. And and you're looking at a blank wall. And that's not very motivating. And the sales manager's back there listening to you. Everything.
Later in the learning of this, will you give us questions to pretend like we're in a meeting with the sales manager?
Oh, God. This is what this is where we're heading now. We've got, we're heading into, one of my clients called me yesterday. He was right in the middle of 10 minutes before his meeting and wanted to know, okay, do I got this right? Yeah, because, and I go, okay, but tweak that a little bit and then go in this way and be sure to close with that and say that, So yes, absolutely. We're going to go down the steps of a phone call, a meeting, an elevator speech. What we say, like if you're just bypassing somebody, you got your cards, like, oh, you do color books. Oh, well, I've got to go over to this other thing. Oh, okay, well here. And then we have a 7-second pitch. We have a 30-second pitch in my training, and we have a 60-second pitch. And then we have how to make a phone call, how to get through that gatekeeper, the lady that's not going to let you talk to the lady or guy, I should say now, that won't let you get to that key person. We're going to go through all this. What's going to happen in the BDC, because we're setting it up now, and thank you for that comment about the wonderfulness of what it's going to look like, because that is really important. Even my little TV tray in my van, I put a white tablecloth on to make it feel like a little space, It has to feel good to go over there, because as like in Mel's case, she feels so good about creating and loves what she does, and that's who she is. But she's not a salesperson. She is not a marketing person. And she's here today to learn about it so she can boost her business. That's all it is. And so, yes, we want to give you guys and anyone listening and the people that are listening any kind of ideas to take that beautiful little place and turn it into a money-making machine. And that I don't talk about money that often. You know that. But that's what we become. I mean, you think that way, you act that way, and then you become that way. And in my life, people are going, how is it you always end up making money? Well, now I'm going to teach you how I did it. When people comment about me, how is it you always land on your feet and da-da-da-da? Well, I'm going to show you now. And thank you for coming, you guys. And thank you for staying with it, because it shows me that you have the QB mindset that I'm talking about. It's a commitment. So let's go off air and say, goodbye to the people that have popped in. And this is up now live on Facebook, and they can watch it. We haven't talked anything personal or, finance or anything like that. So we can say goodbye for now. And I will say goodbye to these guys, but stick around. We're not really actually leaving yet. So what I wanted to say as we go out is thank you so much for joining me today on these Thursday morning meetups on live Facebook. And today we are on Twitter and YouTube. thank you for coming in and just listening. And in the future now, we're going to take this stuff that we learned today and we're going to build it into a little bit next level sales and commitment to your health, your life, your marriage, whatever it is that you want to make a serious commitment to in the QB mindset, which is coming up. We will be talking a little bit more about how we can take your business to levels that you never even dreamed of. That's what's really exciting about where we're going from here. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you and talk to you next week on an early morning session of the question and answers. Now we're focusing on sales.